Whoa, we live. What's going on? Dream team
What's
in the
up, bro? What's
building.
up?
Not too
Yeah,
much, man.
we missing one, but hey, a little sleep, a little slumber, a little folding of the hands, and poverty shall fall upon you like an armed bandit.
But yeah,
Yeah, I don't know what he up to right now, but he might call me back while we on live. But yeah, welcome everybody. This is Paradigm Shift, Paradigms Unveiled with your dream team, Darian
yeah.
Eaton and myself and the GT Hawkins. Today we're going to go over a few things. One about the dream team and our journey, and how we ended up where we at today, where we at right now. We're going to talk about, the people we've encountered since we've been here on Paradigm Shift, or our encounters. Also, topics, some of the topics we'll go over. Probably won't go over, but just pull up. And that is, some of the topics that we've already been talking about, like evolution, Egyptian history, Bible reliability, biblical history. Also, we're going to talk about, future debates and future shows. We got a future debate coming up, or a debate coming up. We should, with the Nagas, about electromagnetism and God. Is God electromagnetism? Which should be a very interesting.
Yeah, that God is light debate.
Yeah, that should be very interesting. And then and like future shows. Everybody celebrated Easter for the most part, but we heard discussions with some of the saints where they say Easter and Passover are the same things, when actually they're not. But it's no big deal, for real. I have plans on doing an Exodus premiere and going into a lot more details than I did last year with the Exodus. And as a matter of fact, for anybody who don't know, the actual month of Passover starts April the 8th. That is the first day of the Hebrew month, Nisan. And very ironic thing happens on April the 8th, and that's the eclipse that everybody's been paying attention to. So those are the things that, we're going to talk about today. And Darren, you got anything you want to put in before we start?
No, man. We just doing a little freestyle chat just to get on, make sure we consistent with our time slots. That way, y'all can see us and hear from us. And who knows, maybe somebody will get on and develop a topic by having, a discussion at the end. We'll see.
Okay. Yeah, bro. So, a few years ago, I linked up with DMG. He asked me to come on and give my testimony, my story as to how or why I became a Christian. And that's how I met up with DMG.
Mm-hmm.
And I came on, did my testimony. I was actually still in the military at that time. So that tells you how long ago it's been.
He was still Pianki at the time too, wasn't he?
Yeah, definitely.
So he wasn't saved at that point, was he?
Nope, he wasn't. But he asked me to come on, and so I came on, gave my testimony and things of that nature, and he had the door open since then. I know I've actually been able to do at least one show last year, and that was the Exit. Actually, I did two.
Mm-hmm.
I did a co-op with I believe it was Garfield. I can't remember the guy's name, but I did a presentation with him, and I also did a Exodus presentation with Pianki.
Mm.
But with that being said, it's like, you and David, y'all guys been my friends for a while, and so I felt it was only right to bring y'all on, of course, via DMG's permission, because I know the type of discussions that we have, and I know, what I'm saying, that we've dealt with a lot of topics, together.
Mhm.
And so that was the reason why I felt like it was a need to bring you and David on.
Mhm.
Uh, what's your thoughts?
You know, for me, it's just good to be able to have discussions, open-ended discussions. I never really actually debated before, so um, listening to other people and having disagreements, like, oh, all right, let me throw my hat in the arena. Meeting DMG, real good dude, real humble. Like, I bang with yo for real. Like, yo, good peoples, and I see that a lot of people, no matter what, I guess, worldview or variants that some of the people have, they all respect him, and you can't ask for nothing more than that. So it's definitely an honor to be able to be on the platform, and a privilege, and just to get to know somebody that's he handling business, in real time. A lot of times when you see people behind the scenes, they not who they say they are, and I feel like he one of the real McCoys out here. So shout outs to DMG.
Right. Yeah, and just thinking about that word that you just said about debate. Uh, me myself, I'm really cautious about debating, and the reason why is because, you know, tempers fly, disrespect, all of that other stuff. And as a Christian, our goal is to preach the gospel of Jesus Christ. And so getting into debates, uh, unnecessary debates, I'll say, for me, I feel like kind of hinders the mission or kind of distracts the mission. But I do feel like, so when we look at the scriptures, it talks about, what I'm saying, having unnecessary debates, but it also states in Jude that we should earnestly contend for the faith. So,
Mhm.
that's why, I really have no issues having a debate if it's needed. But again, just try to walk a real tight line on our mission as Christians and having these debates. So, but as far as this journey is concerned, so far I would say I'm actually satisfied with what's taking place. Um, uh, right now, I think we got a nice little flow going, and I think once again, I would just want to say thanks again to Pianki for having us to come on, and uh, this journey has been a very, very interesting one. So what about the people we've encountered?
Um, it's a lot of different types of people. There's a couple of dudes that's cool. I might not agree with them on, I guess, on the premises or the stances, but they fairly cool. Shout outs to Leandre. I like listening to him simply because I like how he debate. I like some of the stuff. I like that he get on a lot of people's nerves, and it's like wrestling to me, man. Not that I really watch wrestling, but from my vantage point, you get to do your little press run. Then when you actually get in the arena and have your discussion behind the scenes in the back chat, and then that back chat rumbling turn into you guys see me on the actual platform. So
Yeah,
it's like, I like how those things manifest, and I like, Leandre a good dude, you know, all things said, but he one of them dudes where he'll give you the information a certain way, but at the same time, he'll let you know, like, long as it's cordial, he cordial. But the minute you get petty, oh,
yeah,
he definitely getting petty. It'll be rah 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 your mama. Like, it's funny. So I definitely like Leandre. Another person that, to me, if I was like watching this from the outside looking in, another person that's up there that can get and I haven't honestly watched a lot of his material, but it's Chris Harris. Why? Simply because for whatever reason he like a villain. Like, he just show up, create chaos, say his piece, and then it's like a good, like, I'm gonna go back and forth like you like Leandre, because obviously I'm a Christian. I'm for the super team, but then on the back end, Chris Harris, it seemed like a lot of people don't know how to handle him, and just in terms of the entertainment value, because I haven't heard like a whole lot of his information, so I can't really honestly speak on what his major premises are. But I know that he said some things about Christianity I agree with, but at the same time, he a good villain in terms of the entertainment aspect. There's Byron, you know, he in the super team. I've been with Byron. Byron definitely has a wealth of knowledge in terms of Christian history. I'm not saying that this is everything he know, but just from me meeting him, because I'm new, so I like to listen to people in the back chat what topics they pick. I like Rocky. I feel like Rocky and Byron day and night. Like Rocky on the atheist side, I feel like he come with like a wealth of knowledge too. I'm not sure. I haven't been able to figure out where his like specialty area is, but I've been with Rocky. Rocky funny for real.
Look, your boy broasted me already. Dang, bro, come on, man.
Who is that? Rocky right there?
I think I don't know who that is.
I can't. Najiti look like. Yeah, I can see by the picture. What's up, yo? Rocky funny for real. He do look like he needs some breakfast too.
Yeah, I ain't ate. I haven't eaten. I had to drive. A total of 3 hours last night. I got home from school. I wanted to eat. I was so hungry, but I was so sleepy. I just went straight to sleep. And then plus on top of that, you know, we had that severe storm warning last night. So
yeah, you live in a tornado alley. Don't nobody want to get swept up.
Yeah,
you know.
So, hey, good observation, Rocky.
Yeah, he do got that hungry face.
hold on. Let me suck my jaws in real quick.
No, did he? Yo, I was waiting for you to do something questionable. Who else? I said Rocky and Byron. I don't know why they can't debate. They just need to find a topic. Like, they very similar in terms of how they communicate too. Just from my vantage, I could be wrong, but I put them in the same area. You notice I did Leandre, Chris Harris, Rocky, and Byron. I already know you, so I ain't gonna talk about you. You already know. Who else? I think I like Moody Y because he like one of those extra old dudes that be better. Like, I feel like he drink. I feel like he overly drink at like 9 a.m. Like he probably got a pint of Henny early in the morning before he go to work. It's like no, but Moody Y cool. He a good dude for real. I might not agree with his stances, but he definitely like a student of debating, and just from the outside looking in, I think he really liked the back and forth. I think he liked the battle, like on some gladiator type stuff. So I think his major thing is like talking about the science. He definitely loved those hominids and stuff like that. So another person. A person that everybody loved to hate. You're a cool dude for real. He's funny. Is the boy Takari. Like, he be getting roasted left and right, but he a good dude for real. Like, it take a lot of courage to be the outlier in terms of going against the grain and then going up against people in debates with stuff that's genuinely not the consensus. What's up, Teddy? It's funny. It just is like, I don't necessarily agree with him. I think he a Hebrew Israelite. I don't think that he.
I don't know. It's hard to pin. It's hard to pin down, you know, everybody's belief system. But go ahead, because I got a small list.
Who else? I'll put in the same area. I'll put Benu. Benu cool for real. Mm-hmm. I think he feel like he misunderstood, and he be fighting an uphill battle for real. Like, he got his beliefs. I don't think I agree with him too much, but he cool for real. And I give him his credit on a rap tip. if you get a chance to watch this venue, B selection was fire. I mean, you was definitely on your spiritual tip on a rap, but just as a fellow dude that be in the studio, whatever the case may be, you can rap. I give you your credit, bar for bar. I like how you was coming. I might not agree with your premise on the beat, but you was rocking for real. I give you a solid 8. You know what I'm saying? Only reason I can't give you higher simply because of the content, like whatever. If we was debating, I would be debating against those topics. Outside of that, you can definitely rap, and the beat was fire, and your delivery was good. So, you know,
do I hear a rap battle?
um,
Rap battle with the
I'm not no.
ideology?
I don't know if I'm capable of doing that. I mean, I feel like I wouldn't do it simply because the type of music that I would make probably wouldn't be on that debate. I don't know how to turn a rap into a debate. I've never actually tried that, but
It's easy, bro.
I mean, on that level, I don't know because but he had his little sciences in there. But I was actually listening, like he had a couple lines in there. I'm like, oh, all right, yo can rap for real. But he from the East Coast, so I don't expect nothing less from that. I think he really initially from Jersey. So
I'm gonna show you how to do it though. I'm gonna show you how to do it. You ready?
Don't do it, yo. Don't do it.
I'm gonna show you. You ready? You ready?
Go for it.
You know what? Never mind. I ain't even
gonna show you ready to be on live looking crazy, yo. You about to end up a meme. But who else? Who else I got a chance to meet? Kahani. I think I'm saying it right. Kawani. He cool.
Don't forget the Craigs.
Oh, I gotta get to them. I'm going in order of how I met everybody. I met Kawani. Me, him, and Pan was on a call a couple of times. Moody Y, but I already covered him. He cool for real. He pretty. Him and Walter Reserve. Walter and the
talk about Walt Baby Love. Super
yeah,
team.
he in the dream team.
Super team.
Shout out to the super team. But him and Kahani, they both, and Jerome, they pretty much laid back people. You know what I mean? They say they little pieces. Jerome, you know, that's my man because he represent Baltimore, even though he in the South, he like the Ravens. So, you know, anybody that's gonna show my little city some love, you know, I appreciate that.
Yeah, because I need a lot of love, especially with that bridge going out.
Oh yeah, I take that. See how he, you know, who else is there? Connie, I said Connie, Jerome. Oh, Jacobus, aka Nobody. So I ain't know he was nobody when I kept hearing his name. You used to say his name a lot, so I was like, who the heck is Jacobus? And then I got a chance to meet him. He cool, definitely strong presence. He definitely have a passion for apologetics, and he just like to really go in. He had some good topics. I seen he got something with the linguist, and then they about to do a part 2 to that. So that was definitely dope. Trey cool for real. He got chill on my city though. But Trey also on the super team. He a good dude for real. I see that he also. I don't know if he debate. I like that he more like a psychoanalyst type person. Like he like to see what people want and then try like minister to them. Like he like a pastor for real. That's my
Pastor Trey. That's what we call him. Pastor Trey.
Oh, all right. Yeah, that's his personality type for real. I met Pan a good dude. We had some talks offline. He a good dude. I know he definitely a Garveyite for real at heart. I may not agree with like some of his premise on like atheism or whatever the case may be, but he a good dude for real. Like he definitely care about the Black community, and just his innovation in terms of the things that he been working on behind the scenes. Shout outs to Pan because he show love too. Mm-hmm. You know, like I'm not one of them people where if I don't agree with your worldview or whatever the case may be, I know what my theology say, but I know on a man-to-man level or a person-to-person level, I'm still gonna be able to relate. You know, that's just who I am. Like you're not gonna care what I'm saying until I care about what's going on. Like we gotta talk. You know, we gotta chop it up. For me, I'm not no person where I could just cut you like he terrible and then move on. It's a lot of people. that I'm missing. Oh yeah, the Craigs. Ratchet Craig. His name basically is exactly how it is. He funny, like he's another person that make me feel like this is wrestling. Like some of the stuff that he say, I feel like it's in jest for the fact of like an entertainment value. I
Entertainment
like that
purpose.
he bring that to the table because debates. I'm gonna be honest, like I never thought about debating because a lot of the topics be whack. Like I'm not gonna watch a debate where y'all debating on like a pseudonym. I'm like, come on, yo, like that's whack to me. Like a 2 hour conversation on a pictograph. I'm not watching that. Me personally, that's not my type of expertise. Even if I understand it, I'm not gonna argue that. Like certain topics, I'm gonna watch because they interesting. Like the flat Earth joint, I didn't agree with it, but I watched it because I wanted to see. That's an uphill battle. Like yo, gotta climb that mountaintop, and he really
I
gotta
hate
go
I
back and
missed that
forth.
one. Yeah, I hate I missed that one. And
No, it was good. It was good. I felt like he could have Takari could have did a better job answering some of the questions. I felt like he was too
he
trying
might
to
have
be
been
too.
worse.
No, I think he was trying to not to address like some of the conspiratorial parts. But when you talk about stuff like flat Earth, a lot of the information comes from the conspiratorial realm. So it just
Yeah, we'll get into that in a
that's why
second.
I asked anybody in the chat or anybody in the conspiracies. Who else? All right, Classic Craig. He seemed cool. He's funny. He called he called David Charles. Um,
Yeah.
Speaking of what's up, Roster man, he said open discussion discussing what we just talking about on the people we met, or by me being new, just some of the people that I met in the group. Zion, I like Zion because he another person that I feel like give me that wrestling vibe. Like he like a number one contender. I don't know how he got to that level because I wasn't around then, but I know he looking forward to jumping out there. I haven't heard any of his content, but I feel like Zion is a person with the way he talk and the way he sound. It'd be good. DJ Shawnsky.
Everybody that you've named are very compassionate about what they talk about and what they believe.
Yeah, for sure. Like DJ Shawnsky, he also a reserved person. I don't catch him in the chat often, but he be on a lot of the calls. And you seen how it's like he waited for you, and then once you came out, he was like a shock. Yo had mad information on the background. He had his whole presentation like very pointed. Yo like a bleed for real. I give him his credit. I want to hear more from him.
Y'all play too much, bro. Stop.
I'm giving Zion more work than overtime at the post office. That's funny. But yeah, Sean, yeah, I would like to hear more from him. I know he working on a presentation. I know Classic Craig working on a presentation. That's I think Byron working on a presentation. So I'm definitely looking for all three of those to come up. Neo funny too. He like a wrestler to me too. Like he say a lot of stuff that like yeah, on some he got that type of voice. He say a lot of funny one-liners, and he do music. So anybody who do music, I'm always going just on the creative side. I'd be interested. I was looking over his shoulder and his when he was on a call, and I was just looking at some of his equipment. Like, oh, all right, he looked like I'm expecting to hear some good things out of on the creative side from him. So hopefully I get a chance to hear from him.
Time constraint here, so
it's on you.
So on me. I mean, you pretty much naming everybody. So
yeah, I'm just telling you all the people I met. If I forgot, if I ain't say you, GT basically rushed me off because I was rambling. But I'm just telling you about the people that I ran into. If I ran into you and I ain't get a chance to say your name, it just because I said, who did I miss? I didn't really meet Teddy yet. He be on a lot of the
back chats
when we do the shows, so shout out to him too. But I don't really know I never actually talked to him on none of the lives or nothing like that. And if I did, he might got another name in the back chat.
Yeah.
Who else is there? That I said both Craigs, of course, DMG, David. I think that Charles was funny. If he get the nickname Charles, if he get a nickname, I think that Charles is fitting for him. That was funny.
I put the link in the chat. Anybody want to jump in? Like I said, it's an open discussion. Y'all can jump in when y'all.
We just talking about, just so far we've only just been talking about different people that I met, and I guess my opinion of everybody, and nothing. I'm not saying nothing on no hating type stuff. Just like general information that as they talk, what I've learned from them, or things that they have a leaning for, like stuff that they like to discuss.
So yeah. All right. Yeah. Let's see if I can just run through. Of course, DMG. Like I stated earlier, DMG, he's a real brother that really cares about the Black community.
Mm-hmm.
He's my go-to person at any time I'm having, like, one of those crises as far as like depression and all that. Because what I'm saying, understanding that he deals with sort of kind of the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
He's like my go-to person whenever I'm going through stuff. Also, the amount of support that he gives to people, even if they don't agree with his ideology, gives them a platform to let them, shoot their shot. And I think that's respectful.
What you think about this? A person I haven't met him personally. Captain 14. What is it? Captain 1400.
Captain
14K or whatever. I think he like the IUIC dude.
You talking about
Hebrew Israelite dude.
You talking about Captain 10K.
Oh yeah, my fault. I gave him the wrong numbers. Captain 10K. I said Captain 1400. Sorry.
Yeah.
I was trying to get it out, but I couldn't get I knew it was numbers and the captain. I listened to him go at Leandre. I think he's funny.
Outside of the ideologies, people and the people that we name, they're just people. We are just people. And like I told you over the phone not too long ago, I bet you if all of us was in a room, man, I'm talking about like physically, it would be so lit. It would be fire. One day we could probably try to make that happen. But just going down my list, Jacobus, that's my boy. We've been rocking for a little while. Everybody that you named, I've encountered them at some point in time over the last couple of years. And I would say even with Chris Harris, is like, it get a little disrespectful when we like discussing things over, online and stuff. But overall, for me, I just feel like, as a Christian, as the Bible tells us, in order to have friends, we must present ourselves to be friendly. So some of the stuff that, the people, the ops, as we will call them, although they come at us, they can come at us in a harsh way. My first response is to always, hey, turn the other cheek and just be like, okay, look, let's just have this conversation. Let's just talk, because I think dialogue helps open up more doors versus me just jumping on the internet and saying you wrong, you stupid, you dumb, blah, blah, blah. I don't feel like that's the way to go. But taking us from the people that we've encountered, some of the topics that we've encountered and covered. Say, what would the retreat?
That's me.
Oh,
because
okay.
Rocky was saying that you were saying everybody get together, and I wanted to know where where we could have it at, like what location. I know some people on the West Coast, like Moody Y and Leandre. Then I'm on the East Coast. You on the South. A lot of y'all in the South, like between Texas and Georgia. I guess we would have it somewhere in the South, because I mean, like, or we could go or pull up in DMG hood, and because he in the Midwest. He I guess he closer to the middle than we are.
Yeah. I mean, that's something we can figure out a little later. It would be nice though. It would be nice.
I do the camera work for real. I do the camera work. That's what I do anyway. Photography, videography, studio type stuff. I'll pull up with the camera. That'll be a real good, like a 2-3 day event with the food or something like that. That'll be hard.
Food. Oh yeah, you know what?
Rocky close by here in Georgia. What part of Georgia you in?
If I if I do travel to Georgia and we have something like that, you know, I got the food truck. By that time, the food truck will be running. So, you know, hey, it'll be good. But let's get back to this little thing. I got the link in the chat. If anybody wants to jump on just to say, hey, what's up? Whatever, just come on in. But
is anybody in the back chat now?
I see 5 people. But you know, I'm posted again. It's in there if anybody want to jump on. But so some of these topics that we run into, I got here: evolution, Egyptian history, biblical history. What's your thoughts on how?
Well, you already know in terms of evolution, you know, micro evolution, yeah, macro evolution, nah. I haven't seen enough data to collect to even get me to feel like that's what it is. But you know, I'm not a fan of the evolutionary model. I never have been. Am I the person to really go back and forth in a debate about it? Nah, you know. But I'm a Christian, so what do I know? You know, I have a lot of faith. You know?
Yeah, I think one of the crazy things about it is that when we talk about evolution, a lot of people tend to think that we are rejecting micro evolution, almost in this case, what they call throwing the baby out with the bathwater.
Right.
No, we're not doing that. What we stating is that, you know what I'm saying, we don't believe in a macro evolution in the complete transformation of one species or kind of animal into a completely different kind or species of animal. When it comes to speciation within the same kind of animal, that's on the micro level, like the finches with the beaks.
Yeah.
You know, even the mice. I wish I can find it. Do I have that in my folders? But in any case, the as they said, the evolution that took place in the mice that they ran tests on, which of course was actually adaptation, but the mutation rates that happened within these mice was on a micro level, and it didn't take thousands of years to happen. It was just like a few weeks, maybe a few years, a few months. And for me, I think that's telling. I think that's very, very interesting, because if we're going to argue for billions of years, but the processes that we observe with our eyes only take days or weeks and months, a few years to happen, I'm only arguing that we reinvestigate what we've been told. I think anybody would agree with that. You know, the years that they've been telling us A, B, and C, and then when more scientific knowledge comes out, more technology comes out, and then guess what? We find out with the first theories that we thought were genuine have actually come into question, including the Big Bang. That's come into question because of the James Webb Telescope. So that's just one thing on evolution. Uh, what else you got? What you got?
Um, you also mentioned what some of the other topics we discussed. Um, we did one on masonry, um, and other occult practices. You know, it was cool. Oh, he said, "What's that? Macro versus microevolution only exists within the realm of creationism. It's not science."
See, that last part I don't understand. It's not science. Macro evolution is not science. Micro is. And the reason why we have to separate the two from each other because they're two different processes. One we can observe, the other we haven't observed. And you're right. If we're talking about macro evolution, it's not science because it's based off of speculative research. We have not seen a change, a complete change in a species going from one species into another species or a different kind of animal. We have never seen it. We will never see it. And even evolutionists say we will never see it because it takes too long to happen. So if it takes too long to happen, how do we know it even happened?
Hmm.
So
in that realm of topics, there is, what do you say? The Big Bang Theory is not in question only by lay people. So, I mean, I'm a lay person. I can't say what. I'm not gonna say that there are no scientists that's questioning that because there's other models out here. Like, what's the one called the cyclical?
That's cyclic, but
Yeah,
it's
I
still,
mean,
but remember, it's still a Big Bang. It's just a Big Bang expansion crunch. Big Bang expansion crunch.
oh, I mean, but it's not the logistical Big Bang Theory. So, I mean, it has a different title. So, I can't agree with that statement, but I ain't debating you. If that's Zion anyway,
That's
I'm
Ross.
assuming is Rastaman and Zion the same person?
He has Arabic he has an Arabic written by his name, so I don't know exactly. I can't remember who Rastaman is. I remember Rastaman, but I don't remember his real name. See,
If that's Zion, tell him. What's that say? What about the
animal
hold
species.
on, that are no longer around? I don't really know. I don't really understand the question too well.
Maybe he's talking about animals that are extinct. I don't exactly know the question. Like animals that are no longer around, from my understanding, would be referred to as being extinct. So for animals that are no longer around, that are extinct, there could be so many variables that will cause a species of animal to go extinct.
Some of them have gone extinct because of pollution, deforestation. It could be
They
the
just
area
lost.
volcanic activity has created issues with certain animals, and then because they run up against humans who've overhunted. So there's we've used pesticides in certain areas that have hurt certain reptiles and things like that. Those are the things that I know of, but I'm not sure if that's what the original question was. But yeah.
Yeah. So again, back to what TT was asked again, extinction, right? So some of the animals, and I'm coming from a biblical perspective. For the animals like dinosaurs and things of that nature that were around at one point in time, but not for me, the extinction or the reason why a lot of these animals did go extinct is because they died in the global flood of Noah. And as I told some of the other people, you know what I'm saying, hey, look, we're basically looking at the same evidence in the ground. We got two people, let's just imagine two people who walk up on a graveyard and they have two different ideologies, two different perspectives, or two different worldviews. And one of them say, These bones have been here based upon the stratigraphy for billions or millions of years. And the other person who has a biblical or creationist view, they will say, okay, it's buried at this particular stratigraphy, but we believe that these bones have been here not billions of years or millions of years, but only a few hundred to 1,000 years.
Mm-hmm.
We're both approaching what we see in the ground from our own presuppositions. Now, a presupposition to me doesn't necessarily make a person's conclusions right or wrong. It's just after we do the investigation that those things are provided. Those answers are provided. But again, if we're looking at evidence like the fossil records, that's what I was getting to. The fossil record was laid down from my perspective, according to what the Bible says, through means or via Noah's flood. That's how the layers, the strategic layers, and the extinction of certain animals went out. One last thing, there was another thing that somebody had, and I think it was to Corey. We was in the back chat, and he said, well, how did Noah get the dinosaurs on the ark? If dinosaurs had to go into the ark, which I believe God instructed Noah to take a certain amount of clean and a certain amount of unclean. Reptiles will be considered unclean. Is that a good assessment? Reptiles are unclean from my understanding. But in any case, if he wanted to take a dinosaur or a pair of dinosaurs on the ark, let's look at one thing. A small dinosaur is about as big as a house dog. All right, you can go in. Also, dinosaurs are not, from our understanding, most reptiles, because there are some reptiles that give birth to live young. But for other reptiles that don't, they are, hatched in eggs. It wouldn't have been nothing for Noah to grab a pair of eggs, although he wouldn't have known which sex it was, to take a dinosaur egg or dinosaur eggs on the ark. But if I'm thinking what the scripture says, male and female, he could have took a male and female of a particular type of dinosaur or particular types of dinosaurs as they were young, because they don't come out the womb big and gigantic. They come out about as big as a small calf. So I think that's an easy answer to get around. You have no understanding of what dinosaur is. There are more than one type of dinosaur. So maybe you can check me. Have I said anything wrong about dinosaurs? I don't think I even went into a whole detail about dinosaurs.
Just get on the show, bro, so you can give your spiel, bro.
Right, I got you. I got the link in there. I'm gonna post it for you, Rasta man. So you seem like you got a lot to say. Paste. Come on in. The price is right.
I said, do you somebody Teddy or TD? You said TD. I don't know if I'm saying it right. Teddy, TD. It says, do you brothers believe that birds I think he's asking, do we think birds are dinosaurs?
I don't agree with that. A reptile and a fowl. A reptile and a fowl. Two completely different types of animals.
I'm gonna say I'm indifferent, because I've seen some models where they've taken the fossils and erected them in a way where they sit up more upright, and they have the legs oriented a different way with the same ones, and the drawings that they created in one picture came up like a bird-like creature, and then the same bones were used and oriented in a different way, and they look more reptilian. So I genuinely, I'm okay with saying I'm not sure. I genuinely don't know. I believe that there's probably species that go both ways, but some are more reptilian, and then some could potentially be bird-like. But me personally, I genuinely don't know.
Mr. Google Scholar. What's up, bro?
What's up?
What's up, champ? How you doing, man?
I'm doing okay.
What you got for us, bro?
No, so I was talking to you in the chat, and I'm actually Rastaman. So if you see
Oh,
that, that's me.
Oh,
oh,
Yeah.
man, you got so many names, bro.
I only got two accounts. So one is Google Scholar and one is Rastaman.
Gotcha. So
Yeah.
what's your spill, bro? What you
Yeah. I think you have a complete misunderstanding of what a dinosaur is. A dinosaur is not a species. A dinosaur is more like a genus or even a family. So there are many different types of dinosaurs. So if you're saying that Noah took two dinosaurs onto the ark, what kind of dinosaur did he take? Did he take an avian dinosaur or a non-avian dinosaur? Because that's
so
completely different.
all
Because
right, so
when you
I
say
explain
agree with that.
when you
explain
say
what an avian dinosaur is.
It's bird
avian
like.
is mean bird-like, yeah, basically. And then you have what the other types of dinosaurs. Those are the big, like you get like the big plant-eating dinosaurs.
Like a
So,
brontosaurus or
yeah.
brachiosaurus.
Yeah, so those are completely different. So you would have had to take four at least, because you would have to take two avian types, two non-avian types. And
Okay.
we also know that birds are really dinosaurs. Birds are descended from dinosaurs.
That's why I said what I said. Did you hear what I said? 'Cause
So
I'm
Darren,
not
you
going.
you agree with you agree that birds are dinosaurs? They are descended from dinosaurs?
I
Yes,
mean, like I
I
said
mean there's
before,
no
when I
doubt.
seen some of the skeletal structures and then the models that they created for both, when I looked at the skeletons, I was unable to detect what they was until they showed it multiple variants of the same skeleton with different drawings. So I genuinely don't know. Like, I own birds, so I've owned reptiles. I'm not really sure. I couldn't really tell you. You know,
Okay, so
I
so
genuinely don't know.
Okay.
so reptiles are different. But if you know if you've eaten chicken before, you know what the wishbone is.
Yeah.
The wishbone is only in two animals. It's only in birds right now on the planet. The only other place you find a wishbone is in dinosaurs. So that alone is a clue that they're at least related. Now, if you go
Well, what?
back,
Oh, go
if
ahead. I'm
you
sorry.
if you go back to fossil birds, you can find fossil birds with teeth. We don't have birds with teeth today, but it's clear that birds are descended from something that had teeth. Because even when they did the sequence of genome, the genes for teeth are still in birds. It's just that they don't develop. So there's a lot of evidence. It's I don't think it's fair for you to just read a creationist pamphlet and then go with it when there's thousands of scientists doing hundreds of thousands of hours of research on these things, and they have come to the conclusion, and you can just dismiss it by reading a couple websites from creationists. I mean, if you have a belief, that's fine, and you can go with that and suit the narrative. But to treat the science like that, I don't feel like it's right.
All right. Well, here's the thing, Google. And I think we had this discussion so many times. I think this is another thing that y'all have to stop assuming is that all we do is sit around and read creationist videos and books and stuff like that. That is not the case. Also, questions have come up about the fossil records that were constructed uh, by modern scientists. As far as, like, again, we go back to the whole Lucy situation where they said Lucy was a transitional, and they still teaching that, but they've been caught placing bamboo bones alongside human bones. So whenever we do get these, I guess you would call them anomalies or avian type dinosaurs. One question was, when this fossil was laid down, one suggestion was that the fossil that they have that seems to have wings, come to find out, it wasn't one fossil, it was two fossils. It was a bird on top of it was a fossilized bird and a fossilized dinosaur. So it's stuff like that that should raise red flags as to what we have been originally told.
Okay.
I'm not doubting.
Okay.
I'm not doubting the. Well, I won't say I'm not doubting, but I'm not trying to hate on the scientists that do the work and stuff like that. That's cool. But what I'm saying is that, like I said earlier, you got two people who's coming up on this fossil that's in the ground. Both groups have two different ideologies, and when they come from those different ideologies, it will influence the conclusions that they come to. The only thing is that we don't know. We weren't there when these fossils was laid down. So the creationists and the evolutionists, we all using the same information or the same evidence. It's just we come into two different conclusions. As far as your question is, if a dinosaur if there was a dinosaur that had feathers or was part of the avian family, basically, okay, he could have just brought a male and a female of that type onto the ark. It's not that hard.
Yeah. So yeah, when I speak, I'm not speaking specifically about you, but I want to ask you a question, and I want you to really think about the question before you answer, and both of you actually. So if you have to lie about the things that you believe in, if you have to lie to support the things that you believe in, isn't that an admission within yourself that you know that these things aren't true? Just a general question. I'm not attacking either of you.
I would
But
say
if
I would
yeah,
agree with you.
okay. So the reason why I asked that question is the point that you made about Lucy, because creationists have been saying this for over a decade now, and it's just not true. It's just a lie. The first thing that you mentioned about Lucy and about they take whatever and put together with the bones, it's just a lie. It just never happened. And the thing about Lucy is only the first fossil in that species that was found. Today you have I'm not going to say 100, but you have at least in the tens of specimens of that species, Australopithecus afarensis, and you can look it up. They have complete fossils of this particular species, but yet creationists keep lying that they take some bones and they add some things to it to make it a complete fossil. It's just a lie. And so when people are lying to support what they believe in, that is telling me they don't actually believe it. It's just a business to them, and that's what I have a problem with. Even the same again with the fossils of transitions of bird dinosaur, they're not they're not looking at the science. They're going with a narrative, because you have complete um fossils of bird-like dinosaurs that go back. So you have fossils of bird-like dinosaurs with teeth. You have transitional fossils between bird and dinosaur. It's there, but if you take the time and look in the scientific literature, you'll find it. But creationists are not interested in finding support the narrative. And that's what I mean about lying to support a narrative. That means you know it's not true, but you have to support the narrative.
All right. So I just pulled this up. This is a quick research. And I do remember having this conversation with somebody else, but you see where I'm highlighting. I'm gonna just read this part here. Can you see it? All right. The sad fact is that the history of missing link frauds that are put forth by biased evolutionary advocates just gets bigger and bigger. If you had a friend who lied to you over and over again, eventually you just wouldn't give much credibility to anything that they said. The missing links put forth look real scientific and respectable, with their big names like I can't even say that word, Atrobithecus, Rhematis, but dig a little deeper and you'll realize there isn't any real support for what they are preaching. Here, some more examples. Ramapithecus, found in 1976, which was only the fragment of a jaw, several teeth, was put forth as a missing link and turned out to be an orangutan. Next one, Java Man or Homo erectus was a Gibeon monkey skull and a human leg bone found 50 feet away by Eugene Dubius. This was a hoax which Eugene confessed to before he confessed to it before he passed away. He had also found 2 human skulls right nearby, which he had hidden in order to make his Homo erectus fossil seem more plausible. So what I'm saying is I'm not saying anything that I'm not making up anything, and we're just showing you that, hey, it's been done. Now, like you said, if somebody lies to me over and over and over again, hey, I would be, I would look at them and be like,
Can I say something?
Yeah, you can. If
ahead.
I can, though, for 30 seconds, if you can put back that on the screen while the brother says something.
Oh, I got to find it again.
I'm gonna just say, I personally believe, this is just my personal opinion. It's less about the actual data that show, because that's probably, let's say that's Answers in Genesis, right? And then you pick something from the Smithsonian. Is it possible that both sides lie when they have an agenda? Is it possible that just human integrity is shot across the board? People lie on both sides. Some people
Yes, it's
believe.
possible.
That's why you do the
Yeah,
research.
yeah. That's why when questions are asked to me, I can tell you what my conjecture is, but why? I can neither confirm nor deny. So you ask me what I believe or what I think. What I believe and what I think is different than what I can prove. I could be 100% wrong, or I could be 100% right. But I just, me personally, I'm very skeptical with information that I take. That's why certain arguments I just wouldn't. Me personally, I couldn't debate them, because either A, I'm not strong enough in that particular department, or B, the information on both sides, I trust some of it, I distrust some of it. And as a person who has worked in certain fields, I won't say what they are online, but just do the math. You can't trust everything you hear from the collegiate side. People be lying, and then
Exactly.
people on the Christian
That's why I
side,
put that.
they
And
be
that's why I
lying.
put that out there, because
That's just all I'm gonna say. It could be lies on both sides. Where the lies are, I don't know. I'm not a detective.
yeah,
But
that's what
I'm
I'm saying.
I'm
Because
gonna tell you where the
if
lie.
somebody's lying about what they're doing, and especially if these, and this is what frustrates me the most, and I got it pulled up for you, Google Scholar. Give me a second. If these people that we depend on are doing things questionably, why shouldn't we scrutinize their work? Why shouldn't we scrutinize the things that they say? Now go ahead, Google Scholar, and
Yeah.
then I'm gonna move
It,
on from evolution, because
You're right. We should scrutinize everybody. But when you have somebody who has a track record of lying, it's clear to me that they should be scrutinized more than the other guy who doesn't, who might have had 1 or 2 lies in the past, and is trying to stay on the straight and narrow. But the guy who habitually lies, what he says, you should only take what he says when you can prove it. Now, you went to an article at Answers in Genesis. That's the first thing. Answers
is
in
this
Genesis, we know,
is this
is
an
a
answer? Is this an answers in
yes,
Genesis?
yes. If you scroll down to the bottom of the article, it does say it.
It has a link to answers in Genesis,
No,
but I don't think this came from. I don't think this
but this
came
is a
from.
website promoting Answers in Genesis. Both links are Answers in Genesis. This is a creationist website. That's the point I'm making. Now, the contents of it. It talks about hoax in evolution. There's only been
Mhm.
one hoax. All the others that it mentioned are just lies. The only
Okay.
hoax has been Piltdown Man. Piltdown Man was a legitimate hoax that was perpetrated on scientists. That was in the like the early 1900s. So you know that science wasn't as rigorous as it is today. So yes, it was a hoax that was perpetrated. And what found it out to be a hoax? Science. It wasn't creationists who came and said, this is a hoax. This was even before the creationist movement, by the way. Science found out that this was a guy trying to perpetrate a hoax. The others that they mentioned are not hoax. Nebraska man was a guy trying to fool a rich billionaire in the 1920s. It was found out it was never a hoax perpetrated on the scientific community. This is stuff that have been pointed out to creationists from since the 2010s, and they know this and they keep publishing it. That is saying that these people are not honest, and anything to do with answers in Genesis is just not honest. Period.
Good. I think if you listen to what you just said, it sounds like you said there were two accounts where a misrepresentation was made. You brought down Nebraska man, and then you brought up Peltdown man. That's two, right?
No, but that's I said Piltdown Man was the only one that was perpetrated on the scientific community. Nebraska Man was never about the scientific community. It was a guy or a couple of guys trying to perpetrate the hoax and a billionaire to get funding, to get money. He was never brought to the scientific community. He was a scientist
So
that found
Nebraska
it out.
man was never, and I want you to think hard about this, was never propagated as a legitimate fossil.
Not on the scientific community.
Okay. I wish I can go to like a virtual tour on the Greensboro, the Natural Museum in Greensboro, because Nebraska man was clearly up there as a legitimate fossil. But
on which museum?
It's in Greensboro. It's called Greensboro, North Carolina. It's called I think it's called the Natural Museum of Science. It's located on what road? I can't remember the road. But in any case, I agree with you in the sense if somebody lies or have shown to have given false information, they have to be scrutinized. I do that with believers and unbelievers alike. Mm-hmm. All subjects, I do that with. And I think it's a healthy thing to do. So I appreciate you coming on, Google Scholar.
Okay.
I ain't gonna kick you out. I'll just leave you here, you know what I'm saying, since you're here.
No, that's fine.
I'm gonna move over to the next topic. Darren, you got a topic that
to be honest, I'm good on the topics for now. This was something that I wanted to look into a little bit deeper, and just in terms of my question would be, all right, so let's say for instance we Google answers in Genesis, right? Mm-hmm. And then we go to some of their biggest claims in terms of Java Man, and like you make a claim, like how are they making these claims? Are they just saying it, or is there some documentation outside of Answers in Genesis? That's my first thing. My second thing would be, are we saying that anybody who works for Answers in Genesis or a part of the creation movement is a pseudoscientist, or are we just saying that because you're not a fan of them? Like I'm just trying to figure that out, because
I can answer those questions. I'm not saying that anybody who works for Answers in Genesis is not qualified. They have credentialed scientists that work there that I would say used to do good science and used to be, scientists in every right. But once you go over to that organization, you lose credibility. And the reason is because real scientists know that Answers in Genesis has a statement of faith. And if you're doing legitimate science, you cannot start with your conclusion. If you're doing legitimate science, you gather the data, and wherever the data takes you, you go. But Answers in Genesis start with the premise that that the earth was created a little more than 6,000 years ago. And so everything they do is within that premise. That's starting with the conclusion. So once you sign up for answers in Genesis, you have to sign a statement of faith. And if you sign a statement of faith as a scientist, you lose credibility. That's the first thing. The second thing is, if you're doing scientists within the scientific community, you have what you call research. And when you do your research, you publish it in reputable scientific journals for
Peer review.
fellow for peer review for scientists to look at it.
Hmm.
Answers in Genesis never publish anything in the scientific literature, because they know that what they're not doing is not real science. So what they did is that they went and with a few other creationist organizations, they went and formed their own journals. So when they do their research and publish in their journals, it's been reviewed by fellow creationists. So it's not an honest endeavor. And so because of that, once you sign up for that organization, you don't have credibility within the scientific community.
Is there the possibility of, because people don't really like the creation narrative, that there's like a what's the word? Not racism, but like
A
if you
bias.
yeah, like is it possible that they being blockaded from certain things just because people don't like them?
No, it's possible. Anything is possible because this is human endeavor. But what you need to look at is in within the ranks of regular science.
Hmm.
A lot of people don't know this, but most people who are doing this science, most of those people are still believers in some way.
Hmm.
Some people have the idea that most scientists are like atheists or something. A
Yeah,
lot of
I
scientists are
never believed
atheists.
that. I know
Yeah,
actual scientists because of the nature of the work that I did before I worked for myself.
yeah.
Again, I can't really speak on it, but I mean we could talk
You go
off
back.
loud, but it's a lot of scientists that's Christians, and it's a lot of scientists, and I mean people
Muslims,
from
Jews. Yeah,
yeah,
Yeah.
and they have reasonable science. It's not a part of like any organization. They have their own stuff that they working on, that they, you
uh,
have something that you care about,
other
like
people.
you know.
But watch this, Google.
Yeah.
Remember the example I gave. When
Mhm.
we when a, if we walked up, if two people from two groups walked up on a fossil that was buried in the ground, what type of conclusion, or what is guiding their research on how this particular fossil got there? Are they
You're talking about
starting? Are they starting from scratch, or are they starting from a presupposition that they already have? For the evolutionists, billions of years. For the creationists, only thousands of years. Or are they just going there, digging it up, doing the analysis, and say, "Hey, this was here XXXX years ago."
okay. So we're talking about dating methods. Then we're not talking about the actual
No,
science of
I'm just talking
evolution.
about the research method when they first come up
Yeah.
on a
So
fossil. Where are they approaching it from? Just from analyzing it on the in the ground, or are they coming from a presupposition?
no, everybody has a
Boy, you like
presupposition, but
boys
the
and men.
presupposition we have is that. Are you hearing me?
I hear
Hello.
you. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh yeah. Yeah, the
Can you hear me?
presupposition that we
Okay.
have is that that we can find out what happened in the past, right? So that's the presupposition that everybody starts with. When you come up to the fossil and you want to analyze it, first you try to extract the data whether or not this is fossil is preserved. Then you look at where it is in terms of can you look by looking at it determine how old it is? If you can't, then what you have to do is to run further tests, further analysis. So you might test the rock that you find it in. You might run some tests on the actual fossil itself. You might look at the surrounding area to see if you can make a determination of how old it is. But you can't start with the supposition that this is millions of years, or you can't start with the supposition that this is thousands of years. Because even if you start with that supposition, once you come across data that contradicts that, then you have to throw that out.
All right. So but we know that's exactly what happens.
No,
That's
you're
what
saying
happens.
that.
No, I'm telling you, that's what happens. You will see, if you've ever spoken with a paleontologist, in, you know what I'm saying, given what you would call like a little seminar and stuff like that, and they explain that they've come across a fossil, and they see what type of fossil it is, and for them they make determinations as to how far it is in the strata, and it's like, oh, well, it was here, we're gonna say it was 13 million years ago that this species was running around this, but that determination was already, they're already coming from a presupposition from an evolutionary philosophical ideology, and vice versa. When a creationist sees the same thing, they're trying to gather the information in their minds that not billions of years, but what could have happened thousands of years ago. But I think once the research is done, it would help answer those questions. And the unfortunate part about fossils is that you can't get a lot of information from fossils. But again, I don't want to harbor too much on evolution, and we already sort of kind of out of time. But Darian, you got anything else you want to do? Do you want to bring up anything else before we go? Or
No, this was good. I was just happy to, even though I forgot Google Scholar when I was talking about my just going on my little diatribe about different people that I met through, just being in the group. I forgot him, but he came on, so that was cool for me. I
Yeah,
haven't
that's
heard you
cool.
debate. I don't even know if you do. Do you debate?
I've done a few debates. I did one debate. It's not really a debate on evolution, but I'm going to tell you something that's going to shock you now. I actually did a debate against a Hebrew Israelite, and it was
Mm.
a Bible debate. And I was actually, we were debating the virgin birth, because he's a Hebrew Israelite, and he was trying to say that Mary was the virgin and that Joseph was Jesus' father. And so I debated him, and even though I don't believe in it, I know from my Christian upbringing that that's just not true. So I debated him on it.
that's another topic. We had brought up. We did talk about the Black Hebrew Israelites and the origins.
Hmm.
Them having, just kind of go 2 and 2, or 1 and 1. How not Alice Crowley. What's his name? William Crowley.
Alistair Crowley. Alistair.
I'm
No,
talking about
William Crowley is the BHI founder. Alistair Crowley is
is
the
a
Satanist.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
but yeah, William Crowley, of course, was he was in the military. He was a cook on the railroad. He retired, had a vision that Black people were the original tribes of Israel, and he ran with that. We did talk about that. I think that was a pretty interesting discussion.
Hmm.
We ain't getting no Black Hebrew Israelites to jump on.
Yeah, but yeah, I do debates. If when I have the time, I debate anything. I'm a person who believes that we should believe as many true things as possible and not believe as many false things as possible. So if I come across something I believe to be false, I will challenge it and I'm willing to debate. So even if it's a topic about the Bible or the Quran, if I find, I actually also did another debate about Muhammad, if Muhammad existed. I still have that presentation actually, because
Hey,
So
I
you
did
came across some
so
have
guy.
did
you
he exist
heard
or did he not exist?
I believe he existed. Yeah.
Me too. I think he existed too.
it's a guy, I forgot his name. I'm gonna find it, but he thinks that Muhammad was made up. I don't know, but
Yeah.
I don't think Muhammad was made up. There's too much information on Muhammad, and a lot of like, I don't want to get into it. Like me, I'm speaking from conjecture and my opinion. I'm not speaking from fact because I'm not a.
Yeah. You went out. I don't know.
was that
My
me?
somebody ended up calling my phone. I just had to end it. Can y'all hear me still?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
Yeah, I was just saying that me personally, although I have I have not. I'm a person where I have knowledge on a lot of topics, but my confidence levels in terms of speaking on it from a definitive and being able to defend it, I can't. That's why I know I know what I believe. I know why I believe it, but can I force you into a position where it's like I believe Muhammad exists.
Yeah.
A lot of things that he have that go around his, I guess, origin story and things that lead into Islam, I believe he existed. But I wouldn't be able to debate for him existed. I'd probably get thrashed by somebody who genuinely is wrong. But you
Yeah,
know,
I get what you're saying. No, I've looked at it. I'm not saying that you couldn't make a case or an argument that it didn't exist. I've seen people make the case, but me looking at the data, I have to conclude that he probably existed.
I agree.
Same with
Yeah,
Jesus, by the way.
from my
I agree with that
understanding,
too.
I think every year, and I read this long time ago. I think every year they take his bones out and carry them around the community, and I think it's in Mecca.
Mm. Yeah, I think that's a hoax.
Now, I
That's
was
a
gonna
hoax.
say with something like that, I'm like, if they have his bones, they probably pulling out somebody else's bones just for the benefit of
Yeah,
having that.
I don't
Which
think they
goes
have his
to
bones. I don't even think the Muslims would want to bring. As a matter of fact, there's a hadith that Muhammad said that that Allah has actually preserved the prophets' bones. So all the prophets, their bodies are preserved. So I don't think that's true in any way. I think that's a hoax.
Yeah, I could see that being fake.
Mm.
Like the Shroud of Turin, I don't know if that was actually official either.
Yeah, that's fake too.
Yeah, like a lot of the
Hmm.
little trinket type stuff, I don't
Yeah.
really get into those. I don't know, man. It's like, all right. So here's a secondary question. Just follow up for both of y'all, just in general. Do aliens exist? Whether you believe they demons from outer space or whatever the case may be, do you believe in like that phenomena, extraterrestrials, spaceships, aliens, or whatever they call them?
You want to take that one, Gigi?
you saying, do they exist? Do I believe they exist? Whether
Yeah.
they demons or not? Yeah, I believe it's
Well,
something
I was
happening.
saying,
Yeah,
no matter what you believe they are, do you believe that there are otherworldly beings that exist that come from
I
space?
wouldn't.
Or I mean,
I wouldn't
let me
say.
not put a location on it because that might change the question.
Right. I would just say, from my understanding, that these are interdimensional beings, not from another place in space, but from another reality outside of ours, that are able to enter in and out at will. Uh, yeah, I do believe that.
Okay, for me personally, um, I don't know. I think given the vastness of the universe and everything that's out there, I think it's plausible that
Hmm.
there are other beings or other life forms out there. Have they made it to Earth? No, I don't think so. I'd be really surprised if they did. So I don't think we're being visited by aliens, but I think it's quite possible. It's quite likely that there are aliens out there somewhere.
And so, do you consider yourself like an atheist or agnostic? Do you even use those type of terms?
Well, I don't usually, but if I was to describe myself, I'd say the most accurate thing would be an agnostic atheist.
Okay.
Mm.
So I found something. I ain't really good at this quick research stuff, but this is the Hajj planner. If you wanted to take the Hajj to Mecca, and it's talking about the grave and tomb of the Prophet Muhammad.
Hmm.
So a video here, whatever. See, the Prophet is buried in a sacred chamber, along with two of his most faithful companions and first two caliphs of Islam, Abu Bakr al-Siddiq
And
and
Umar
Umar
Khattab.
ibn al. Right. So apparently, if it's not his tomb, it's a tomb that they made up for somebody, or they took it. I don't know, but
Yeah.
it looks like he's buried in that sacred tomb, and I'll try to find a link where I read in a book where they
Yeah.
did take bones out of this place every year as a, and you know what I'm saying, to
Hmm.
I believe they probably took some bones out,
Yeah.
but you know,
it might not
a
be
lot
his.
of these
I don't
things
know.
they need fanfare to keep them going. You know what I mean? You don't
Yeah.
have people that's coming to spend money and worship and develop your pattern of belief. That a lot of the pomp and circumstances is solely just for the finances. It's like going to the
Yeah.
circus.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'll tell you why I'm saying this is a hoax. And tell me if I'm crazy, right? So, like I mentioned, the two things. First, Islam is the second largest religion in the world, and they're out to prove that their religion is true. They believe
Hmm.
that their religion is true.
Mhm.
If that was truly Muhammad's body in that tomb, as I mentioned to you, there's a hadith that says that Allah has preserved the bodies of prophet and that they will never decay. If you had Muhammad in there and you could show that his body has not decayed and show that hadith that was written maybe like 1100 years ago or 1200 years ago, and you have that and you can show that's case closed. Islam is true.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? So why
Hmm.
would you keep that from the world if that's true?
I agree. That would be like a complete contradiction to what their hadith says.
Yeah. So
If I
so and if you have and the second thing is if you have bones, it would debunk the hadith. That means the hadith is fake because if the body is preserved, you don't have bones.
Hmm.
Mhm.
So either way, I think it's a hoax. I think, like you said, it's more financial. They're just trying to, you know, it's
Yeah,
an
for me,
industry.
I think it's about finances and
Yeah.
creating like religious days for and and I see that in all types of areas. You know,
Hmm.
you want people to enjoy the food and the festival and all the stuff that goes along with these type of things. Uh, People have their heart in the right place for the wrong reason, so to speak. You
Yeah, and
know,
it's $1 billion a year industry for people to come and do Hajj every
That's
year in.
true. That
Yeah.
is
think
true.
about you got a lot of people making a pilgrimage over there.
Yeah.
That
You got
costs money.
planes, trains, and buses and boats that all go in the travel industry. It can build off of this. Like there's a lot of things that go into stuff like that logistically. And if
Yeah.
you hit every one of those things the right way, a lot of people can get rich real fast.
Well,
Hmm.
look at Saudi Arabia. They are a very rich country, a very rich country.
Yeah. And it's
I mean,
not just the
they
oil.
still own slaves. They still own slaves.
Yeah, if they own slaves, it would have to be like, they're doing it against international law.
Yeah,
But yeah,
they have. I had an article where a guy from Saudi Arabia had slaves at his mansion in Virginia a few years ago.
yeah. But I know that definitely in Mauritania they still have slaves in there.
I believe it.
Hmm.
I I think I got one more question in me, and just for both of y'all. So I got two. One more about Islam. Oh, why do you think that America has the Nation of Islam, but the Nation of Islam is nothing like the actual historical religion of Islam? Like, where did that? Do
You
y'all
said
know where it came from?
Yeah, so the
what was
Nation
that
of
question
Islam,
again?
go ahead.
The question was, there's two variants, or there's many different sects of Islam, obviously. But why do you think that the Nation of Islam is so much more different than, I guess, more of the historical typification of Islam? And then I asked about the origin as well. You putting something up?
Go ahead, Google. You was going first.
Yeah, yeah, no. So the Nation of Islam, in my view, are not really Muslims. What they did is that they combined Islam and Christianity together. But
Hmm.
actual Islam is actually against Christianity and Judaism.
For sure.
Yeah, so it's not really Islam. Sure, they make their own version of the Quran, and they call themselves Muslims or whatever, and they use some of the some of Islam, but
Like nomenclature and things that sound.
they also have elements of Christianity within it. So it's like a hybrid religion, hybrid of the two. So it's not really the same. Actual Islam is against Christianity and Judaism, and so that's why you find that there are more conflicts when it comes on to especially Christians and Christian majority countries. So
Mhm.
yeah, that's the answer.
I don't know if he accidentally left the group.
Yeah, I think he dropped off accidentally. I didn't see him.
He'll come back because he has
Yeah,
to.
if you have another question in the meantime.
Yeah. Are you Caribbean?
Yeah, I'm Jamaican.
Okay.
But
Okay. Back. I figured that I was either going to give you Jamaican or Nigerian, but I never seen you, so I don't.
yeah,
No.
well, technically, I'm part Nigerian, based on the fact that the slaves that were brought to
Y'all
Jamaica
good?
were primarily from
Okay.
Nigeria, Ghana area, and when
Yeah.
I did my DNA, it was primarily Nigeria, Ghana.
Mine's has been Benin or before. I'm My father is Haitian and my grandmother is Nita Tapi or it's part of the Blackfoot Confederation. Everybody say they
Mm-hmm.
Blackfoot, but there's many tribes in the Blackfoot
Mm-hmm.
Confederation. But my grandfather and my father were both Haitian. I didn't meet him till I was 27, so that's why I don't have like no strong accent or nothing like that. I seen him like once when I was like 4, but he
Yeah.
was telling me, and then one of my kids, when my kid's pediatrician, he was also he, from Haiti. He came here, but he was already a doctor. He was a good dude, and Dr. Lunis. He was saying that majority of the people from when you from an island, a lot of people already know you say the right last name, and they all one
Yeah.
family. And he was telling me
Yeah.
that a lot of the family was from Benin. It was between modern day Togo and Benin, but it used to be called Dahomey. And he
Yeah.
was just giving me a lot of information on it, and just teaching me a lot of things. He was even my wife doctor when she was a baby, so he's been here for a while. But he also like he almost like 80, he like 90 now,
Mm-hmm.
89, 90,
Yeah.
something like
Hey,
that. But so we definitely got
hey, Google.
we Caribbean people know their
Sorry. Go ahead.
African roots
Mhm.
a lot more than I would say people in Western like America and Britain. And it's interesting to me because I said that's for a reason. We was talking about the BHI and you debated one. You notice a lot of BHIs like to have like that chart where they say the 12 tribes of Israel, and then they make Jamaica one tribe, Haiti another
Yeah.
tribe. And I'm like, bro, you do realize you don't really y'all lumping a lot of us in together, and a lot of us know where we came from.
And we're mostly the same people anyway.
Right.
Hmm.
Yep. Yep.
But what were you gonna say, GT?
No, I was going to respond to your question, but I forgot what your question was about.
It
Yeah,
was
it's
asking
cool.
about the Nation of Islam versus the other Muslims.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, again, we've already kind of touched on it. Not BHI, the Nation of Islam was a result of, what I'm saying, the black experience that was taking place during the, early 1900s. The same way William Crowdy invented his religion, um, so did who I think it first started. No, that sounds more temple. That's Noble Drew Ali. Fard
That came
Muhammad.
around that time too, though.
Master
Yeah,
Fard Muhammad.
yeah,
Hmm.
Fard Muhammad came into play, and he was charging his members like what $5 or $10 to change their names and stuff like that. But it was a response to what was happening with black people at that time. And The same way that William Crowdy took the 12 tribes of Israel and said that black people were the original tribes, Fard Muhammad did the same thing with the tribe of Shabazz. So it's almost like he was copying from something from what he saw with William Crowdy. We got a black Israelite movement. Now we need a Islamic black movement. And I think that's where one way that the Nation of Islam started. But if you look, they've been getting confronted. I don't know if you've seen that, Google, where some Orthodox Muslims were toe and toe with Nation of Islam Muslims, and they was really going at them.
I didn't see it. Well, I don't know why they would go at the Nation of Islam, because they're doing their own thing, and it's not the same religion, and they don't claim to be same religion. I mean, a few of them from time to time might do odds, but it's just like one or two really. So I don't know why they would go at them.
Well, I think because they teach a completely different version of the Quran. The Messiah, not Messiah, but the Mahdi that they refer to in the Quran, not the Quran, but the Hadith, they have identified as, one of their leaders. I think it was either Louis Farrakhan. At first it was Fard Muhammad, then it was the Elijah Muhammad, then it was Louis Farrakhan. So I don't know where they at with it now, but Orthodox Muslims, especially the Shiite version, the Shiite Muslims take it very seriously, because their Mahdi hasn't even come yet, and for the Nation of Islam to be teaching a completely different variation of not only the Quran but the Hadith, I can see why they went after them.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. I mean, if they were claiming they have the same religion, I can see that, but they're not claiming they have the same religion, because they're claiming they have a different prophet, and they're claiming that that God came as our Master Fard Muhammad, and that's Islam teach something completely different.
Let me see. I found. Hopefully, it'll work. Let me see if it's to work. I'm gonna show you real quick. Hold on, I'm gonna pull it up. Come on, don't do me wrong right now. All right, can y'all see that? Can y'all hear it?
From the companion class.
Yes. How did you know from the companion stars? It's written in the book.
Can you open the book, please?
I don't understand your question.
Okay. Can you open the book, please? No, you can't.
What's your point?
Is it?
Yeah, see it?
Is it written in Arabic? The one you have there?
I'll give you another.
Okay. All right. Okay. My point.
I don't know why it does this.
It is when the Quran was transmitted from the companions to us through people, which means it was through people who narrated the Quran verbally and as well written from the companion all the way to us. They are the very same people who transmitted the hadith from the Prophet, peace be upon him, to us. Were you there when the Quran was there? Were you there when the Quran was there? Were you there when the Quran was there? Were you there? Were you there? I'm asking you. Ask the same question. I'm asking you. Were you there when the same people who transmitted the Quran to us?
The guy on the podium, who is that? I've seen. I don't know if that's him or not, but he looks like the guy that was on Phil Donahue and the Oprah Winfrey show. Do you know who I'm talking about?
No, I'm not sure, but
I've seen this guy's face before too. I just don't remember his name.
He's not American, by the way.
He looks a little older on this one.
He's from England.
Basically,
I know this guy.
Okay, yeah. I'm just playing about 30 more seconds.
They are the very same people who transmitted the hadith. The very same people. Yes. Now, if you no, that's my opinion. That's not my opinion. Because Allah, yes,
Muslims,
which is us, not you. Okay, which is us, not you.
So you see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I
no,
mean,
I understand.
And this has been going on for a while now. Like they've been getting confronted everywhere they show up. You probably don't hear much about it, but yeah, Orthodox Muslims have been confronting the Nation of Islam quite a bit.
I see that. That guy actually is a Sunni Muslim, by the way. He's not Shia, and I kind of agree with what he's saying. If because what he's basically saying is the same means that the Quran comes to us is the same means the Hadith comes, and so if you reject the Hadith, you should reject the Quran too. I kind of think his point is consistent.
Yeah. Well, we are. I think we can go ahead and end it here if you want to, Darren.
Yeah, I just appreciate you, Google Scholar, for jumping on with us, just rocking with us.
Yeah, no
GT
problem.
as always. Thank you for letting me get on there with y'all. I'm not gonna say I'm a spectator. I have views, but we got that debate Google Scholar. I don't know if you was involved, that you even knew that it was happening, but me, the GT, and David, aka Charles. No, we doing the debate versus the Nagas, where they said that God is electromagnetism and that God is light versus
I
the
didn't
God of
see
the
the
Bible.
debate. When did it happen?
No, we're supposed to sit down with what's today, Wednesday? We're supposed to sit down with DMG so that he can broker out the details for us in terms of what day, because they needed a weekend day versus a weekday. So once they give us a open date on the calendar, we'll lock it in. But I'm thinking it should be like an hour to maybe an hour or so with a Q&A part at the end. What y'all think?
Yeah, it shouldn't need more than an hour for 2 15-minute section, and then you divide up the rest in 10 minutes. Yeah, should be
Agreed.
all right.
I feel like we shouldn't be on an hour and 30 minutes tops.
Yeah. It should be an interesting topic.
Biblical Christianity, God versus in my opinion, that's what
the
pantheism, the God of light, and he's everywhere. But
Yeah, no, I get it. I just let me know when y'all gonna debate. I'll show up.
For sure. We always appreciate the support.
Yep. All right, Google, I'm gonna go ahead and
All right, man. Peace.
Appreciate you. Peace. You want to close us out, my brother?
Yeah. I just, what I'm saying, just again, just want to thank DMG again for giving us the opportunity to, do this and to bring content to Paradigm Shift from a different perspective. For all the subjects that we come across, it's fun, it's fun, and we get not only to preach the gospel, but we also get to inform our brothers and sisters, and even for people that's on the fence, they will see that we have a valuable and a reliable source. Well, my Bible tore up. Look at that. We have a reliable source that we go by. And, I just want to let my Christian brothers and sisters know that I don't care what kind of hit that we take. As long as we out there on the front line trying to get y'all the information so that y'all can be informed and well equipped to deal with people who think like the ops. They think that God is light, God is electromagnetism, or they believe that we come from monkeys, or they believe that the Bible is unreliable. There's no reliable evidence for the Exodus and stuff like that. No, we are here to let you know that there is evidence for the creation. There is evidence for everything, or for the most part, for the events that took place in the Bible. And once again, hey, y'all can trust in the scriptures, and that's what we're here for, to enforce that thought in y'all. And for the people that's on the fence, guess what? You will see again. You can come to Christ. You can come and believe in the Bible because it is a reliable source, and that's what we're here for. In this debate that we plan on doing with the Nagas, you'll see. It's not all it's cracked up to be what they saying. So I'll leave it at that. Darian.
You already know, man. I'm just excited to see what's going to happen. Hopefully it's a good debate. Hopefully it's entertaining. Ultimately, hopefully we set the record straight. This would be my first time debating. GT, I know you've probably debated a few times before. Yeah, I seen that where Teddy was saying that the Naga argument comes from a Christian pastor, and I was just like, can he elaborate?
The Christian pastor is putting that kind of stuff out. He needs.
Yeah, I don't know what he talking about, but I believe I wouldn't be surprised if somebody, so-called minister or Christian pastor, there's a lot of
trying to be deep.
Yeah, a lot of times, or trying to develop argumentation. A lot of times, people just don't be knowing what they be talking about. If you see what I be doing, I don't mind saying I don't know, or it's just a belief of mine. I don't understand why people can't just say I genuinely don't know, but that's my belief. If you don't want to have a conversation afterwards, just say I don't want to have a conversation. You believe what you believe, and then potentially debating might not be the thing for you. But me on this particular topic, oh yeah, we got one. I think we got one.
Does anybody else want to come in for about a minute? I got the link in. It is.
Yeah, Teddy, put up.
26. So I'm gonna close out at 11:30. So y'all got about 4 minutes if y'all want to come in. And over some other topics that we ran across with that. Definitely. Huh?
I was gonna say, don't forget, Ben News supposed to see David on the All. I think that's what he called it. His God was the All. That I don't know what the actual full premise is, but I know that that's a debate that's supposed to come up. David versus Benu on his view of God, and David is obviously going debate from a Christian perspective. So I'm looking forward to that.
Okay, we got Russell in the house. Russell.
What's up, Russell?
How you doing there?
What's going on, champ? How you doing, man?
All right.
What can we do for you, bro?
Oh, I'm just getting set up right now. I've got a few things written down.
Okay. We listening.
Well, how many seconds will you give me? Depends on what I say.
We got about 2 or 3 minutes. Try not to take up the whole thing, but shoot your shot.
Okay, let me see if I can get this thing set up. I was hoping to set it up to where you could give me a signal, but here I'll just start reading some stuff off, and you guys hold me up and make some comments when something strikes your nerve, because I've deliberately made this stuff to strike hard at you guys and trigger you guys, Okay. Starts out, the wolves in sheep attire are known by their works. And those works are indoctrinating children with church lingo and using the vocabulary of fantasy land. Those include words like God, prayer, faith, prophet, etc. Now tell me, what is good about indoctrination of children with a fairyland in its vocabulary? Can you really expect everyone to pretend your God made Mormons so Christians would feel like Jews? What makes you think your faith is respectable? Jesus says faith is worthless since you can't expect mountains to move in obedience to your orders. Claims of free will and morality are the magic cop out for a deity failing to get the respect of everyone. The proper and moral thing to do is dismiss and rebuke the believer. Those suggest we all travel better with one foot in fantasy land, granting them ownership of the vocabulary and of the narrative according to their whimsical interpretations.
Is that it?
That sounds like an opening statement right there.
Mm-hmm. You go ahead first if you got something to respond to that.
He said a couple of things that I don't know. Is your viewpoint or your premise based on atheism or?
My views are based on the truth and about the Gospels, what the Gospels are saying and written for.
So, what is the gospel? Can you identify the gospel?
The Gospels are Roman literature. They're a parody of the Roman war fought and the campaign fought by Titus. And they left us proof of that because the historian Josephus wrote War of the Jews. His message came down to us with the Gospels, and he's almost exclusively the guy that's covering that period and that subject. Well, as it turns out, the same people who wrote the Gospels wrote Josephus, and we have proof of that now. So what you guys are reading is the Gospels is Roman propaganda and parody, making fun of the Jews.
Well, I would have to say that I disagree. We have, for example, we have historical references shortly after the first century and second centuries about the authentication about the Gospels and who were their writers. If you've ever, I don't know if you've heard about the Moratorium document where it has a list of the New Testament books, excluding the book of Revelation. I think it was mentioned. I don't know who mentioned it, but when you have these books being mentioned in the Moratorium document, and it's labeling the majority of the books that we read now, what it demonstrates is that these books were in publication, and the idea of the authors were cemented at least by the first century, second century AD. Not only that, we have Irenaeus, who was a student under Polycarp, who was also a student of John. So I'm not sure exactly why or where you're getting your information as far as the authors of the gospel is concerned, but I respectfully disagree. Also,
could I see some citation? Like that would be nice to see. Just to do some research.
Let me finish real quick.
Go ahead.
Another thing, what I asked from you, Mr. Russell, is to tell us what the gospel is, because in your opening statement you said the Gospels is saying, you're looking at the Gospels and what it's saying. So I'm gonna ask you again one more time, what is the gospel?
Well, that's awful broad to try to adjust what is the gospel. But you have 4 gospels right now that don't agree with each other and have conflicting statements in them. And the fact of the matter is that this is Roman propaganda. And you can once you start understanding that it's Roman propaganda, then you understand the all these strange things that are in the Bible, like Galatians 13:3, where he says that the curse of the law was lifted by Jesus Christ in order that Jesus Christ can become the curse for us. So
Yeah, that
we
makes
have,
sense. That makes sense.
yeah,
I guess for someone who is, I will assume that you're not a Christian, and
oh
so
no, I'm totally against Christianity. It's the
right,
wrong way to
okay,
go.
so that would make sense to you, not to make sense. That phrase there, you said Galatians 3. What? Galatians 13:3.
13:3.
All right, go ahead and finish your statement, and I'm gonna read from Galatians 13 when you're done.
Okay. Let me look up something here that might interest you.
All right, so while you doing that, I'm gonna read it real quick. Is that okay? All right, so there's no 13. So maybe you meant Galatians 3:13.
13:3, I believe it is.
Galatians
In Galatians, yeah.
13:3. I think you got it backwards. It's 3:13 what I'm reading here.
Oh, is it? It is 3:13. Yeah, you're right.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I've got it backwards.
So it says here, Christ has, and just to show y'all, I do Bible study, y'all. So I'm gonna let y'all know. You see, it's already highlighted. So I've dealt with this conversation before, but boy, I need another Bible. Anyways, Galatians 3:13. Christ has redeemed us. He has redeemed us from the curse of the law, being made a curse for us. For it is written, curses at everyone who hangs on a tree. So basically, what this scripture is telling us is that Jesus Christ took on sin to himself, becoming a curse for us for the redemption.
Yes, that's the way you are taught to interpret that.
That's how the Bible interprets it. That's how the Bible was interpreted.
That's how it's been left for you to understand by your teachers, but it's not true.
All right, now explain to me, why wouldn't it be true? Why wouldn't Jesus serve as the why wouldn't Jesus serve as the person who redeems us by his sacrifice? Why wouldn't Jesus be the one? Or why isn't it true?
Well, it's a joke because it is written that everyone that hangs from a tree is cursed. And Jesus Christ was essentially hanged from a tree, is what they're saying. What they're doing is they're having fun and poking fun at the Jews after the war. In the war, near 70 AD, the temple was destroyed. The Romans had defeated the Jews. So that means that the literature that came afterwards was came to us from Greek and not Hebrew or the other language spoke at that time. So what we have is a joke by the Romans making fun of the Jews, and you'll find other strange things in there to prove this. Now, you guys all know that story about when I think it's Mary Magdalene comes in and anoints Jesus Christ's head with oil and washes his feet with her hair. Well, the fact of the matter is that the male sex organ is recorded as feet or foot in the Old Testament and throughout the Bible. So you can understand the joke when we come to this story, because the hair that she is washing his feet with is not a real foot, and it's not the head on her hair. You see, they're making fun of it.
All right. So what you saying really doesn't make any sense as far as like the context of what is being written there. Let's just say if it was written as a joke, the context doesn't even play out that way. Second, they were at a dinner and they were about Jesus Christ was it was really close to the Passover, and Jesus Christ knew that he was about to get crucified. Now you're talking about cultural things such as taking, like the mentioning of feet. Well, if you look in the Old Testament, every time a mention of somebody's foot or feet is mentioned, it's not always in the sense of a sexual organ. I'm pretty familiar with what you're saying because, for example, if I can go back to the book of Ruth, and Ruth was the daughter-in-law of Naomi, who eventually left Edom and moved back to Israel, or moved back to Canaan. And because her husband had died, her daughters, her sons had died, her husband had died. And one of her daughter-in-law said she was going back to her land and her people, while Ruth said she was going to go with Naomi. And so she left with Naomi. They ran into Boaz. She seen Boaz. She told Naomi, hey, this is what you do. You go lay down at his feet. So yeah, I'm very familiar with that situation. And once Boaz woke up, saw what happened, he's like, okay, bet, I know what to do now. So, but like I said, in every case where feet is mentioned, it's not always talking about sexual activity or sexual organ, especially in the case of the woman preparing Jesus for his burial. Culturally, again, if you go back to when right after Jesus Christ had came off the cross, when they took him off the cross, Joseph, the Pharisee who was a follower in secret, he brought certain supplies to prepare the burial of Jesus with. And one of those, several of those things was hyssop, spices, and myrrh. So when Jesus told her that, when he rebuked his apostles for what for getting on her for doing what she was doing, he was telling her, hey, look, she's preparing me for my burial. That's the context. That's what was happening. So I respectfully disagree with you on your assessment there. Is there anything else you want to say before we go?
Well, I would say that my interpretation is the actual interpretation. And when you read it in that context, where the organ and the hair are euphemisms, then the story makes more sense. And I have another quote here from the Emperor Julian the Apostate in the mid-300s AD. Said, let no one therefore deceive us by words, nor disturb us with respect to provincial interference. For as to the prophets of the Jews, who reproach us with things of this kind, what they say of their own temple, which has been thrice destroyed, but has not been since, even to the present time, rebuilt, I do not, however, say this is as a reproach for them, for I have thought of rebuilding it after so long a period in honor of the divine. You are taught, indoctrinated, really, that we are looking forward to the third temple and Jesus coming back. And this is pure fiction. That you've been taught to try to make the Gospels make sense from your viewpoint. But it was written for some people that understood the context of the time and understood the wars and things. This malarkey goes back a long time, where they're talking about the third temple. I'm sure you guys are very well aware of that story.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm gonna respond and then we're gonna close out. So this whole case about the third temple, and I think you're saying that this is a misinterpretation, or this is a false teaching done by the church in order to deceive people into coming to the faith. The first thing Jesus said about the temple when he was telling the Pharisees, well, destroy this temple and I will rebuild it in 3 days, or I will stand it up in 3 days. Jesus made reference to the temple, but he was actually talking about his own body. And then we follow it up with what Paul says about, no, don't you know that your bodies are the temples of the Holy Ghost, the temples of God, and ye are not of yourselves. So in other words, our focus as Christians is not really on a third temple. Anybody who would want to preach a third temple or a gospel centered on a third temple, I think will be wrong to do so, because the gospel, as I asked you earlier, is not about any of these things that you brought up, but is mainly about the death and resurrection of Jesus Christ. That is the actual gospel, and that's what the gospel is centered around. As far as the third temple is concerned, you get into a discussion or a topic about eschatology. And yes, within our own Christian faith, there are a variety of thoughts in regards to the third temple. Will there be a third temple? I believe it will be. But the only reason why is because I've looked at Daniel chapter 20, Daniel, I think it's 27, 927, Daniel chapter 9, in regards to the timeline as to when all of these things would take place. Also, I look at what Jesus said. Think about this, Mr. Russell. Jesus said that, matter of fact, let me go to Matthew 24, and I'm going to just read it verbatim. Matthew 24, right here. And once again, just to show you, I study. I got notes on this stuff. Let's see, 24, building, false Christ nations. Let's see. There we go. Matthew 24, verse 14. I'll start there. And this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in all the world for a witness unto all nations, and then the end shall come. So already we understand that the gospel has to be preached to every person around the earth in order for, not in order, but to identify when the end shall come. Today we got mass communication. We travel to places, different places that we've done before. So the message of the gospel can get out even further than it has before, which gives us an indication of where we at as far as the end times is concerned. But look at what Jesus says here. When you therefore shall see the abomination of desolation spoken of by Daniel the prophet stand in the holy place, whoever reads this, let him understand. Then let them which be in Judea flee to the mountains. So a lot of people will refer this to 70 AD. However, there is an event that takes place at this third temple that Paul brings up, where he says a man will go into the temple, sit on the Holy of Holies, or sit in the Holy of Holies, and call himself God. In order for that to happen, there has to be a third temple. But I could be wrong in my assessment as far as eschatology is concerned in regards to a third temple. In regards, the gospel is not about the third temple. The gospel is about Jesus Christ and his resurrection. And I greatly appreciate you, Mr. Russell, for coming on, but we're going to close out from there. Darian, you got anything you want to say? I think you're on mute, bro. All right, so anyways, I really appreciate everybody coming on. It's went a little longer than I expected, but like I said, we getting prepared for this debate, if they still gonna have the debate. And Darian, you on mute if you don't know that. But good discussion. Meet us here next week again. We'll probably finish off one of those first topics about the Freemasons and stuff like that. So With that being said, just want to say thank y'all for coming out. God bless you. Good night.